Yo, Dawg, I heard you like packs. So we put a pack inside your pack, 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 inside your pack. Welcome to gear tasting. Hey guys, welcome to the ITS Gear Tasting. Today we're going to start and roll right into some questions we have because it might take me a little bit longer with some of the responses because it's a fairly broad subject and I want to make sure we have the time to cover it. So that being said, the first question comes in to us about or from Ru on Twitter who asks, hi Bryan, can you please do a small introduction about different tactical and military style boots and shoes? We've also got another question from Blake B on Facebook who asks, can you show your recommendations for hiking boots in the next gear tasting? So I wanted to kind of throw those two questions together and just address some specifics in terms of boots and shoes. Different from boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants. All right, so first off, these are just I guess an example of what I have for shoes and boots, and I'm just going to give you a couple of quick thoughts on each pair and why I like them for the specific job they do. So first off, kind of daily wear wise, I would defer to kind of the Speedcross 3s from Salomon as well as the Terex from Adidas. So I've been kind of battling these two pairs of shoes back and forth for a while now. You can read a write-up which we'll link to in the video on my thoughts behind the two shoes. One of my biggest complaints with the Salomons, and just so you know, and you don't have to correct me on the comments, I do use them for what they're not intended to be used for. So these are basically a racing product. So they're made for trail running and things like that. I don't use them for that. I use them for pavement running and everyday wear, and that's just me. That's how I roll with them. So as you can see, the tread gets really worn down on these. This pair particularly is probably going on 8 months or so now. This is probably my second pair of gray ones. I've had 2 or 3 pairs of black Speedcross 3s before then. I think one of those was even the Speedcross 2 before the 3s came out. But I really love the way they fit. They're extremely lightweight, and that's what I love about them. So I would love it if they just made the tread a little more dependable. They haven't done that yet. They're on the 3rd model, so it's probably not going to happen. They're probably going to tell me stop wearing them on the pavement and running with them like you do. So that's that. So I tried to look at the Terex, which are a heavier shoe. But it's the same kind of style. They've got the lace like this too. So these are Kevlar laces on both these, which I really like. They're pretty dependable. I haven't had much of an issue with wear on them. You can obviously you're not going to see detail on this, but you can see a few places that the laces have worn in. But overall, they're fairly dependable. Again, my comparison of these two was done over that article, so make sure you check it out. But these have worn better overall than the Speedcross 3s, but I still keep coming back to these because of their lightweight nature and good fit. So again, kind of everyday working out. I'm usually always in a pair of Converse if I'm lifting, or I'm wearing Speedcross 3s if I'm doing any kind of running and things like that. So then that brings us to another pair of Salomons, which I've only picked up recently within the last, I'd say a little over a year now, but I started wearing these Tech Phibian shoes. So I wear these when I'm kayaking, and also had a trip with Prometheus Design Works up in California where we kind of hiked up a river, and these were perfect for that. So as you can see, they've got drainage mesh all over them, and the sole is awesome on these. I kind of wish this sole was on these, but there you go. But they've lasted really well so far, same Kevlar lace configuration, and they have an adjustment buckle in the back, but they're made for water, and that's really why I love them. So, and then my just everyday boot selection, well actually before we move into boots, I'll talk about the Arc'teryx. These are I wrote this down so I don't forget, Acrux or Acru 2, FL, and GTX, so Gore-Tex. These are more approach shoes, so if you're climbing, this is what you would wear, you wouldn't necessarily wear your climbing shoes to get to the location you're climbing on. You'd want an approach shoe to get up the terrain to get there, and that's what these are built for. These, you can see the sole is much stiffer on these. They don't have the kind of flex that a typical sole has. You're not going to find that on these because they're rigid. They're approach shoes. Again, they're designed for a specific purpose. They're not a daily wear shoe, so just be aware of that. What I do like about them, and we've also done a review on these on ITS, is that this internal liner is removable, which makes a great camp shoe. So at the end of the day, when you're done with your approach, you're making camp, you can slip into these. They still have a pretty heavy-duty sole on there, so it makes a great camp shoe. I really like those. Those are the recent shoes that Arc'teryx has started coming out with. So moving on to boots, my favorite pair of boots that I've ever worn. I just absolutely love these. These are the Loa Renegade 2s, and I love the leather line version. They're not the best in terms of waterproofness, but at the same time, I'm not really worried about that. One of the things that Arc'teryx introduced a while back, if I can get this out, I forgot to get this. So this is their Maddox Dry Sock. So I really like these. If I find myself in kind of a river crossing scenario, I've got these with me, so I can slip into these and then put my feet into the boots, and then it doesn't matter if these get wet, my feet are protected. So I mean, it still sucks that your boots are wet, but at the same time, there's other things you can do too. Carry a dry bag around and actually take your boots off, put them in there before you cross or ford a river or something like that. So I haven't really found that to be an issue with these. This is my second pair of these now. I completely wore through the other ones. I had them on a couple of 14ers that I hiked, so I really beat the shit out of them, and now I'm on my second pair. Apparently they have a warranty type program too, so even if you do completely bust through them, they'll give you kind of a credit on your new pair. I didn't know that before I bought my second pair, so little advice to you. So again, Loa Renegades, great boots. Also, sometimes I'll wear just a kind of standard pair of combat boots. These are all Tamas. I like them. They're fairly rigid. The sole is just massive on these, so that's just kind of a particular style, and there's a time and place for every kind of style. So, and then when you get a little further along, you've got, I talked about the approach shoe, getting up to a climbing spot. My climbing shoes are buried in a bag. I won't get them out right now, but climbing shoes are notoriously smaller fit. Your feet are more compressed for technical climbing and things like that when you're actually scaling rock. And then you've got, your boots, you've got approach shoes, and then you've got kind of this level of boot too. So these are made to be able to adapt with crampons. So if you don't know what crampons are, they're these big spikes that you use to climb on ice and things like that. So you can't just put a pair of crampons on any kind of boot. You actually have to have a boot that's designed for them. So basically the way this works is that this heel lock system actually clips into the boot and snaps in like that. And then your crampons are locked in. You route the strap around through this eyelet and then secure them. So that way your crampons aren't coming off the boots. So that's more of a, obviously a crampon style boot that's not completely fitted correctly, but so again, crampon style boot. These are La Sportiva boots. I've had these for quite a while. I've only had a chance to use them very rarely. I don't do much ice climbing, so there you go. That's just a quick run through. Hopefully I kind of cover everything. If you have particular questions about any kind of the styles or particular models of these shoes, leave them in the comments and I'll try to get them answered. All right, so our last question over coffee is another fairly long one that I'd like to turn into a little more of a review on packs as well. But Jason L on Twitter asks, I'm wondering on updating my military Alice pack to a modern version. Can Gear Tasting talk about some custom embroidery? I'm not quite sure what you mean, Jason, in terms of custom embroidery, but I can show you kind of some custom things you can do to an Alice pack and something that I've done back when I was in the Navy too. But I can talk through a little bit of the Alice pack, and then I want to kind of briefly answer some more questions we've gotten on packs too, and introduce some new stuff that we have. So first off, if those of you, I'm going to move my coffee so I don't spill it. Those of you that aren't familiar with the traditional military Alice pack, this is an external frame pack. So your shoulder straps mount to the frame, as well as the pack that slips onto the frame, and then your hip belt also attaches to the frame on the bottom. So these are commonly used in the military. This style has been around a long time. I can't even say for sure whether they're still even issuing these, but I know we used them a lot for like ruck marches or ruck runs on the beach back when I was in Buds. So what we would do is basically in this radio pocket back here, we would take a big pill like this, so a sandbag. This is like a 35-pound sandbag. Drop it into the radio pocket so it's up behind your back. You would tighten everything down, and then you'd take your pill and go for a run. So that's kind of how we utilized them. Obviously carrying gear around too, but ruck runs were a big thing for us, and that's something I'm pretty familiar with doing. This is actually the pack that I had at Buds too. So one thing I had done is the way that the straps are routed initially is they come through kind of a tri-glide type device where they lock in. So I kind of got crafty back, and this was like 2002, 2003. So, sorry, 2003, 2004. But I got crafty and I actually zip tied some male Fastex buckles to the actual metal buckle there, and then routed some female buckles up here with a tri-glide. So all I had to do was basically clip in and out. It made getting in and out of the pack a lot faster. Obviously zip tying those is not really the thing to do, but I made do with what I had at the time. I didn't really have access to be able to unstitch that and stitch on a Fastex buckle. So I still really like these packs. They've definitely still serve a purpose. I've always loved the 3 pockets in the front here that they have, as well as these smaller pockets up here. I think this is the large. I'm pretty damn sure this is the large. They make different size Alice packs, but I've also loved the fact that this pocket up here in the flap is accessible to via a little piece of Velcro. So then you just cinch up the pack and strap it down. So that's an Alice pack. In terms of embroidery, I'm thinking that what you meant, Jason, was that modifications in terms of sewing. So there was some companies that I think used to do some stuff with Alice packs a long time ago. Then there was kind of an evolution that took place. Companies like Eagle and Blackhawk and things like that started making kind of enhanced rucksacks and things like that, which eventually led their way into the kind of packs that are around today. So the commercial market really helped that out. So in my view, Dana over at Mystery Ranch kind of helped spur that, so that he took kind of the commercial side of pack making or the outdoor side of pack making, kind of meshed it with the military. So he started making packs called BDSBs, which are very similar to this big behemoth right here. So I bought this probably 6 or 7 years ago now, but this design is based off of that BDSB pack that he used to make for the military. This is obviously a multicam one, but well, I never made it to SQT after Buds, but they were issued the BDSB packs. It was like a silverish color, and they used those up in Kodiak for their stuff. So they were using Mystery Ranches back then. I don't know if they're still utilizing those and still issuing them, but this is kind of what I think was a big player in the evolution of packs. Obviously, they've grown smaller than this. Mystery Ranch makes a ton of different size packs. It's definitely a US-made brand. I would highly recommend checking out. They're out of Bozeman, Montana. So that's kind of some of the evolution there. It's a fairly heavy pack, but it's very comfortable to wear. Got a lot of adjustment in it, big padded hip belt, things like that. So then, what do I want to go over? So just to kind of give you an example, this is a pack that Blackhawk made when they were still making stuff in the US. That's how old it is. This is from probably 1995. That's how long I've had it. It's a pretty damn old pack. It's been around the block. It's got beat up, but it's still kicking. I still use it. You can see the foam kind of has compressed quite a bit over time, but overall it's still a very dependable pack, and I use it for just kind of a grab-and-go pack for CERT stuff. I'm a member of CERT in my local community, which is the Community Emergency Response Team. So I have like a hard hat and things like that in here, all the CERT-issued equipment if I ever had to respond, which I'm still going through, and I'd love to update to more modern stuff one of these days, but that's a work in progress. So that's just their basic 3-day pack. Like I said, it's Blackhawk. So Blackhawk and Eagle Industries were some of the big players in the tactical nylon market back in the day, as well as London Bridge Trading. And then, you know, Blackhawk started sourcing a lot of stuff overseas. They grew pretty big. Eagle Industries folded. London Bridge is still around, and Blackhawk's still around too, but their stuff isn't made in the U.S. anymore. London Bridge still is. So, what I wanted to show, though, is that's the basic kind of 3-day pack design, which has progressed into a lot of different things nowadays. This Mass Gray pack that I showed on a previous gear tasting is kind of LBT's, or London Bridge Trading's, current iteration of what they have for a 3-day pack. So you can see it's still very much kind of still that same cross flap in the front, that type of thing. Still kind of the same configuration, basically. So. And then recently GoRuck's come around. They kind of took that same 3-day pack design, put a twist on it, started running these with everybody in terms of their challenges and things like that. You know, they used the GoRuck challenge initially when Jason McCarthy founded GoRuck to promote what a better upgrade this was in terms of a pack. So, you know, he put weight and bricks and things like that and had everybody run through these challenges with their packs on, just to say that, hey, they can go through hell and high water and still hold up. I'm a big fan of the GR1. This is their GR1 pack. This is pretty much one of my everyday, I wouldn't say everyday, but my one of the packs I go to all the time. So when I travel, I'm always using a GR1 to travel. It's a little less nondescript. It's still got some webbing on the front for Molly and stuff, but I really do enjoy the GR1 pack. Got these nice pockets in the front to load, as well as a spot in the back for a laptop, which is kind of cool. I really like this when I'm traveling. So that's the GR1 pack from GoRuck. They also have a bigger version, which is the GR2, and this is currently loaded with kind of all my I don't like the term bug out bag, but this is my bag if I was going to grab if we had to get out of there. So one of these days I'll go through this on a gear tasting, but this is primarily for everyone in my household, not just me. So if I had to grab this and throw it in my truck to get out of there, which you're more than likely to encounter like a bug ins type scenario than a bug out scenario. So case in point. Then the Arc'teryx pack has been around for a while too. This is their card pack. This is the card 30, I believe, 30 liter, and I really like this style. It's got these nice big Velcro areas in here. You can mount different pouches too. I definitely like the configuration here that can fold out to pack and things like that. I like the big side pockets too. I've used this pack quite extensively. Got a lot of good things to say about it. It's got these internal frame stays in it too. So whereas before I was talking about the Alice pack being that external frame, so with the Alice pack you could see that frame that's behind it where everything attaches to. With something like this, it's an internal frame sheet as well as stays. So these things lift up and these big metal pieces actually come out of here. So here's the frame stays that are in the back of the pack. So there's 2 of these. They're molded into that shape. They have some flex, but they don't bend into a different shape. So that's kind of the style more packs are geared towards nowadays. Whereas the 3-day packs I mentioned, you know, there's no stability much other than the foam in the back. And then the GR1 and the things that GoRuck started making, they actually have a frame sheet back here. So you can see it back there, that plastic that's in the back. That's actually a hard frame sheet that kind of gives the pack some rigidity. That's in most of their packs. And then, so internal frame sheet in this too. You can hear that back there, as well as the stays that are in there. And then, you know, this is a perfect example of an internal frame on the current generation of the BDSB. I don't even know what this is called, honestly. I've had it for so long that I tried looking it up on the Mystery Ranch website. I don't even think they make this particular model anymore. Excuse me. So then we've got a few other go-to packs. This is one I really love. They don't make it anymore. This is from Go Light. It's the Jam 50. Super lightweight pack. I'm talking ounces. But I use this when I'm kind of backpacking and weight's a concern. So I've really kind of been trying to get into that lightweight backpacking game too when I'm outdoors. So really love this pack. The founder of GoLite, after that company kind of folded, he's starting up a new company now, so I'm hoping that we're going to see these same type of designs from him as he starts this new company. But this is the Jam 50 again. You can sometimes find these on eBay, but when I bought this, it was about 79 bucks, and now they're going for about 200. So you might want to hold off and see what that guy's up to when he starts the new company. And then we can kind of get into, I mean, I've got a medical pack here. This is the M9 pack from TSSI. This is also a bag that I have stocked and ready to go that I can pull from a shelf in the garage along with that other bag, the GR2. So this is most of my medical equipment that's all ready to go, and I'm nerdy. I've got it all in a spreadsheet. I know expiration dates, and I try to keep this replenished and things like that. But I've gone over this slightly when I went over how to bag these meds individually. I'll link to an article on that on ITS as well. But again, one of these days I will go through all this stuff on gear tasting, because that's kind of perfect outlet for this type of stuff. So again, M9 bag from TSSI. I like the fact that you can attach a litter down below here with these straps, and then it's got this large pocket under here, keep tourniquets and things like that ready to access. And then that same pocket you can also access from inside the bag here. So that's that same pocket. And then all these pockets are removable if you needed to take those off, which I like. And so is this big section here, so you could completely remove that if you needed to. So again, M9 bag from TSSI. One last thing I'll mention, this is a BCA stash sack, so Backcountry Access is the company. I use this when I'm mountain biking and running and things like that, if I want to just carry a hydration bladder with me. What I like about it is that it's got this sleeve in the shoulder strap, so that's where the hydration tube runs into, so it's great for storing the hydration tube in there. But what's nice about it too is it's supposed to prevent it from freezing, so that's the goal, is to not have your hydration tube freezing when you're out in the elements. But this is just a really small pack. I love it. It's super lightweight. This is a waterproof zipper on here too, on this main pocket, so most of the stuff that I'm carrying can stay a little bit more water resistant than some traditional packs, but again, perfect for a little workout bag to carry a hydration reservoir. So hopefully you enjoyed that little walkthrough. If you have any particular questions, let me know. I'm also going to come right back and revisit a product that we've just got for review as well. All right, guys, so one last thing I wanted to go through is something we've just received from my friend Travis at Haley Strategic. So he sent over a couple of flat packs for us to take a look at. These are a smaller version of a pack, obviously, as you can tell, just to kind of give you a size reference on the pack. They're definitely smaller, but they're purpose-built for an intended purpose. So purpose-built for an intended purpose, yeah. That makes sense, right? All right, so it's got a larger area in the back here, but what's cool about them is that they can expand to accommodate more space. So by taking this expandable gusset here on the zipper seam, or this one, and zipping it all the way out, the pack can expand. You can see that expansion right there to a much larger diameter. The same can be done for this smaller pocket in the front. So that can expand as well. I think the total is about 600 cubic inches that it expands out to. So obviously you can get a lot more in the pack if you needed it. So this was designed to not only interface with Haley's chest rig that he designed. So basically with the straps that are included here, you can interface this pack with a chest rig in the front. So you would unhook these, take these off, and actually interface that with the rig. So, and then also on this version, you've got these straps here where you can mount this onto the back of a kind of a plate carrier or something like that too. So you got a plate carrier, you can mount this to the back, and that's really what it was designed for. So if you look at the overall height, of a standard plate carrier, most packs would eclipse the height of a plate carrier. So, if you're talking about a 3-day pack or something like that, I mean, obviously that's a much bigger pack than the flat pack, but at the same time, an overall size of that compared to a plate carrier, you're looking at a lot more space. So this was purposely designed to fit the diameter, of a plate carrier like that. So just wanted to bring that into to play there with the information. So you've got the smaller pocket in front for storage. You've got the larger pocket in back. You've also got a smaller pocket up here that pretty much goes the whole length. And then in the back of this, you've got another pocket that you can slip a 1 liter bladder into. So again, the standard size kind of 3 liter source bladders would be a little bit too big for this pack. So this is a kind of a hanger. So when you get that bladder in there, you can hang that. And then it's got a pass-through slot right here with some webbing so that the hydration tube can come out of there. So also a little grab handle. And then these shoulder straps are adjustable, you know, based on your shoulder height, as well as quick detachable too if you need to cut away for the pack. And then they've got some external elastic for routing cables and things like that. And then, so the bottom has a drainage grommet as well. So he's also sent over a gray version, which is a little different. So if you look at the back of these two packs, you'll see that the gray version is a more everyday civilian kind of version, whereas this is dedicated or more specifically geared towards putting on the back of a plate carrier or something like that. This is more designed as a, you know, just a true everyday backpack. So it's got the mesh on the back that's padded, so it creates that cooling effect on your back. But it still has all the other attachments and things like that the other pack does as well. So still has the same shoulder strap features, elastic retainers, all that kind of stuff. Still expands just like the other pack. Still has the same hydration port, bladder capability in the back. Still has the handle, all that good stuff. So again, this can also interface with the gray color that Haley's got. I think it's disruptive gray on his chest rig. So it can interface with that as well. So just a quick look at these. Like I said, we just got these in, so I'm looking forward to kind of putting them through their paces and seeing how they do. You know, obviously, again, this is a much smaller pack as a standalone, but you know, with this with the zippered gusset, it really does expand quite a bit to give you a lot more room. So quick look at the Haley Strategic flat packs. I believe his website is haleystrategic.com if you're interested. Hey guys, thanks for watching Gear Tasting. If you have any questions, remember to use the pound tag Gear Tasting on all the social media networks and we'll get them answered. Thanks for watching.